Breaking news.
1. Pope Francis has approved procedures to prevent and combat sexual abuse in the Church. According to the Vatican, the new apostolic letter was created after 4 years of work on it. The most important thing is, for example, the obligation to report abuses also by lay leaders of faithful associations. The definition of abuse includes a crime against the sixth commandment of the Decalogue against a minor who uses reason imperfectly or is a defenseless adult. Protection and no obligation to remain silent is to be extended to anyone who claims to have been wronged and has witnesses. Dioceses to set up bodies to deal with signals of abuse. Meanwhile, online memes can be seen making fun of the Pope's jacket and comparing him to hip-hop stars. 2. Canada and the US announced joint investments in the extraction of raw materials, the production of semiconductors, electric cars, and clean energy. More than $10 billion will be spent on it. Joe Biden stated, "We are at a turning point in history. 2 countries do not bow to force in a world where authoritarian countries like Russia want to undermine international norms." 3. The United States hosts the Summit for Democracy. 120 countries were invited, including democracies considered to be in regression, such as Poland, Israel, Mexico. There were no invitations for Hungary and Turkey. 4. The head of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, has openly challenged the Kremlin's narrative. According to him, Russia is not fighting NATO in Ukraine, but only the Ukrainians and the Russophobic mercenaries, who voluntarily support them. He also undermined the presence of the Nazis in Ukraine and the necessity of its denazification. He also said that it was not true that Russia had to defend itself against the NATO threat and that it was ridiculous to think that Russian officials did not know that NATO would help Ukraine. 5. The European Commission has reached an agreement with Germany on the ban on the sale of combustion cars and will relax the regulations, allowing further production and registration if they use synthetic fuels. Synthetic fuel technology is being challenged by environmental organizations as costly, energy-intensive and polluting. 6. In France, the battle between the police and the extreme left against the construction of a water reservoir in Saint-Soline continues. Several thousand people protested against the monopolization of water by farmers. 16 water storage tanks are to be built in the region in the winter to irrigate crops in the summer with low rainfall. More than 3,000 policemen and gendarmes were sent to protect the reservoir. Several hundred demonstrators attacked them with Molotov cocktails and stones. The police used tear gas and water cannons. Several service vehicles were burned. 5 protesters were injured. 7. Putin announced that Russia would place tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus and sent 10 soldiers there to deliver nuclear weapons. He announced the conclusion of an agreement with Belarus for this purpose, because according to him, the US does the same in Europe. NATO comment, "This is dangerous and irresponsible rhetoric." According to Washington analysts, this does not increase the real threat, but is only an attempt to intimidate the West and increase control over Belarus. 8. The 4 Nordic countries Sweden, Denmark, Finland, and Norway form a joint air force with 263 fighters. Countries have recently purchased a total of 143 F-35 fighters, and Sweden, which has 60 Gripens, is preparing another 60 for service after modernization. The document is called the Nordic Air Commander's Intent and was signed at the US Ramstein base in Germany, surrounded by NATO headquarters. 9. Germany, in response to the growing crime at Berlin stations, the police introduces a weekend ban on bringing, among others, knives or screwdrivers and will control its observance. Thank you for your attention. See you tomorrow. Bye.